Welcome to Wednesday Night with Aaron. I'll talk for a few minutes. I see some names and faces that I think are new to these Wednesday nights. Way back in 1989, after I first started consciously channeling Aaron, people began to ask a lot of the same questions. Who are we? Why are we here? Questions about meditation also. So Aaron said, instead of saying it over and over to this and that person, let's gather together. Wednesday night was convenient. Remember, this is 30 years ago, over 30 years ago. So we got started. We met every Wednesday night. And we called it Wednesdays with Aaron. We started with a half dozen people in my living room. We ended up with about 30 and squeezing out the limits of my living room and finally moved to a rented space. We've been doing it almost every Wednesday night since. Well, we've been doing it almost every month since. We went to twice a month because I was teaching a lot of classes. Now we do it once a month. But nevertheless, this is Wednesday with Aaron. So welcome. For anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Barbara Brodsky, and I'm the founding and guiding teacher of Deep Spring Center. And me and Aaron together. And Aaron says he is my teacher, but he's very happy to teach anybody who wants to come and listen. And so here we are. So thank you for being with us. For those who are newer to Deep Spring, there's a lot of material on the website and also extensive archives, 30 years of talks. These, needless to say, are unusual times. So we are offering more material. We also have Zoom that we didn't have before. The timing is perfect. For 2 years, we've been perfecting Zoom through our class because the Dharma Path class has 40 people from all over the world. And so we had to do it on Zoom. So thank you for that preparation. We now have Zoom. Last week, I was meditating and love came in. A number of you have heard me channel love in the past couple of months. I find him, her, it, a very beautiful entity. Entity is not the right word. An entity is a thing, or a spirit, somebody with some past life or whatever. Love is really not an entity. Love is simply love. Love is going to share the platform with Aaron tonight, and that's why I'm speaking about love. So I was meditating and love came in with these words. Of course, I didn't type it as I was meditating, but love promised me love would repeat it and ask me to type it the next day. I'm going to read this to you as a background, and then Aaron is going to incorporate. You have asked for me. I am here. You asked, what is my relationship with the mother? I am androgynous, but within me you see the divine masculine. The mother is also androgynous, but is a full expression of the divine feminine. There is no duality. We're always a part of each other. First, there was a love, and it had no masculine or feminine face, just love. I invited more expressions of myself. I chose to take on a masculine expression so I could invite a feminine one. Then there were love and divine mother. But of course, this is an aside from me, love is within the divine mother and the divine mother is within love, and they're not separate. Returning to love, in your physical world, reproduction needs both. At the level on which love and divine feminine as first expression of love, I as love could create, but the divine feminine, I as love could create, but the mother brought forth a deeper, heart-centered expression, free of any force, so solely grounded in welcoming invitation. So now we were two, although always truly one, masculine and feminine. Here is your biblical story of Adam and Eve sprung from Adam's ribs. Even love could not create something from nothing. The essence of the divine mother was always there within love, and love searched for her and invited her to express. Aaron is saying now, as an aside, please do not think of love as an expression of Adam. Adam is an expression of love. Eve is an expression of love. But love came first, free of any outer expression. Coming back to love's words. Love searched for her and invited her to express. Between us, we invited forth the rest of creation, on earth and everywhere. Let us keep this discussion to earth. You ask, since I came first, am I more powerful? We are equal. We have always been part of each other. Although in some cultures and worlds, one seems to have more power. As love, I seem to have the power of outer expression and expansion. But what good is that power without a gentle and all-embracing heart? The mother gentles the power of love and holds it in balance. Which is more important, the heart or the hand that extends outward? Can you see that both are one whole and equally vital? From that first expression of my, just a minute, I need to fold this so I can read it better. From that first expression of my completion by inclusion of my heart, all else followed. We played with the expressions of the seeming dualities, light and darkness, joy and sorrow, motion and stillness, air, land, and sea. I'm being bannered. Meet my dog, Banner. Those of you who were new to me. Come here, Jim. Come on up and say hello. And then you need to go and lie down. Banner is a service dog, a hearing your dog. He takes good care of me. He's my ears, and he also helps me to balance because I have very poor balance because of my middle ears. inner ear, semicircular kind of. So Banner's my very good friend. Okay, that's enough. Sit. Good dog. So coming back to this last paragraph. From that expression of my completion by inclusion of my heart, all else followed. We played with the expressions of the seeming dualities, light and darkness, joy and sorrow, motion and stillness, the elements, air, land, fire, sea. As I have mentioned originally, I wanted to invite playmates to bring even greater joy, to offer the opportunities for growth, and to extend outward in service. We did so, always with commitment to observe free will in what was invited. Each element, form, or being that came forth was a direct expression of the mother, female principle, and the androgynous love that carries a somewhat masculine edge. You are one expression. What may be your role in this drama? Why are you here? Let us explore that together and with Aaron on the night available next week, which of course is tonight. Okay, that said, I'm going to take a minute for Aaron to incorporate. Aaron will start this. My blessings and love to you all. I am Aaron. I'm going to start the talk tonight and then pass it to Love. So some background from me. That old question that we ask year after year. Who are you and why are you here? Why are you here in these challenging times? I want to find something for a moment. A wonderful quote came to me. It was a wonderful quote from Lord of the Rings, in which Frodo says something like, I wish this had not happened in my time, but it did. And so my work is to make it as best as possible. You came for these times. You have forgotten. But truly, this is why you came. All of you in this circle, not all on earth, but all who are here with me tonight, you are old souls. And at some level, very conscious or barely conscious, you knew that Earth was heading toward a major shift in vibration. Hopefully to a higher vibration, but possibly to a lower vibration. And you were clear that you were going to do your part to help it become a higher vibration, a transition into a higher density. But of course, with your birth, there is a forgetfulness. Celeste found this quote. Alex found it too. Let me read it for those who can't say it. I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf, and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. I find that very powerful. I believe it came from Barbara's friend Surya Das from his website in an email recently. So giving credit for it, appropriate credit for it. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. In order to know best what to do with the time, you need to remember a bit. And it is now a time for remembering. Some of you don't want to remember. Perhaps it feels too heavy to remember. To remember realms with eons of darkness. To remember lifetimes of fear and hatred that surrounded you. To remember feeling powerless against that fear and hatred. But you have been studying and preparing. And now is the time for you to be here and to manifest the radiance, the hope, the joy which you came to express. I'd like you to imagine something with me. We are all of us in a bus. The road is curving and rutted. The bus slips off the road and flips over. And everybody lands on their heads. Lots of people with amnesia. Climbing out of the bus, walking around saying, "Where are we? What happened? You see the bus lying there. You're not even sure you were on the bus. What happened?" The bus is not functional, so we all begin to walk together. There's a sign that says, "Town, that way." Here we go. We follow a river that opens into a huge lake. At the far end of the lake is a very large dam. And then the ground drops down. Water coming over the waterfall and openings of the dam. The river progressing down. The dam holding back the lake. And below in the distance you see people living their lives. Planting their crops. Washing their clothes. Dancing and singing. Doing all the things that humans do, with a monstrous dam looming over them. A dam that looks a bit old, decrepit. But they're used to it. They've lived in the shadow of the dam all their lives. And their parents and their grandparents. You don't think too much about it either. You go down into the valley, all of you, all 40 of you, and say, "We think we were in a bus accident. We're not sure, but here we are. How can we be of service?" You were given food. Places are found for you to sleep. Warm blankets. and work to do, helping to plant the crops, to teach the children, doing whatever is most needed. And you're grateful for what you're given and happy to be of help. You just fall into being a part of this community. Heavy rains come, and the water levels rise in the lake. You can almost hear the groaning of the dam. You say to people, is it like this every year? Oh, yes. Whenever the spring rains come, the dam is a bit brittle and starts to break in places. We do what we can. We patch it with mud and sticks. But we are not the ones who built it. We don't remember how to fix it. But it's safe. My great-great-grandparents lived here, and they said it was safe. You're not sure about that. As the rains increase, larger pieces begin to break off the dam. More water is pouring through. The river below is rising almost to the houses in the village. And it is a village that houses over 1,000 people. What will happen if the dam gives way? You sit and look at the dam. Maybe you go to sleep and have a dream. Somehow a memory comes. I was an engineer. I learned how to build a dam. I know what is needed. Maybe that is why I was in that bus accident and came to this valley. Because they needed my help, our help, to repair their dam. They've been living in innocence. Maybe you can call it naivete, but I'd call it innocence. The dam will be fine, everything will be fine, but somehow we know unless care is taken, action is taken, it won't be fun. Lives will be lost. So you say to comrades who were on the bus, do you ever remember building a dam? Oh, me? No, now wait a minute. Something is creeping through. Yes, I was an engineer too. I remember. And suddenly all 40 of you were remembering, each of you with special areas of engineering, architecture, and working with materials. We know how to do this. Sending some of the villagers out to gather the materials to make it the concrete, steel, iron, to make what we call cables to go into the concrete to strengthen it. Whatever might be needed. Some of you drawing up the plans. Some of you doing the work of mixing and pouring the concrete. First, strengthening the old dam, but aware that's only the first step. Once the old dam is in place, so that there is no immediate danger, then work needs to be done to architect and create a new dam. A new plan for this overflow of water, this threat to this world. It takes decades. But you don't. Not only do you help build a new dam, but you teach the people how to build a dam, how to take care of their immediate environment, how to take care of a threat to themselves without fear, but lovingly, thanking the earth for the water that flows, not fearing it, but with gratitude for it, and co-creating with the water and the earth to create a safe environment. This came about because you were willing to remember. Now was a time for remembering, my friends. You are not engineers. You are far more than that. You are expressions of love. You are sons and daughters of the universe. You are beings whose center is the loving heart. And you hold within you the creative principle. Are you ready to remember? What holds you back? For some of you, the answer to that is simply that it feels like too much responsibility. A question of unwillingness to hold your full power, because there is the doubt, what if I fail? And if I do fail, then I will be responsible for the deaths, the hardships, all that follows. Maybe I'm not ready to do this. Maybe I need to go back to where I came from and take another couple of centuries of training. Well, Earth is not going to wait for you, number one. And number two, if you were not ready, you would not have taken birth at this time. You did not come to fail. It takes courage to allow that knowledge. It is not pride saying, I will not fail. I'm not saying you cannot fail. I'm saying you choose not to fail. If you choose to fail, you can fail. Are you ready to trust your heritage as deeply loving and intelligent humans who are inheriting the earth right now? Because this position is the end result of all of your training on many different planes. Some of you here, some of you there, different backgrounds, but all of you have been in training for this time. As Gandalf says, all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. You are ready. In so many ways. Ready truly to give birth not only to a new earth, but to a new human, to the awakened human. That is the essence of each of you. And that is truly choosing and ready to emerge, to crack open the shell and come forth. Like the chick and the egg, living in this protected environment, it begins to peck at the shell, sticks its nose through it. What am I opening to? It says with wide eyes. The chick does not take birth until it's ready to take birth. You have lived in this shell for 1,000 years. Come forth and co-create with spirit, with love, with me, with your own gods. Co-create this awakened earth that is your birthright. The virus did not come as a planned teacher. It simply came because the conditions were right for it to come. It lacks the intelligence to say, oh, I'm going to go to Earth now. Bye, friends. I'm going to Earth and I'm going to teach them some things. No. The virus simply is it's a parasite. It will try to gain foothold wherever it can. It does not have any malice. It simply is doing what it needs in order to survive. You have the ability, through your own awakened heart and your intelligence, to speak to this virus from a place of high vibration and love and tell it, no, you will not destroy sentient beings on Earth. The virus does not have to destroy in order to survive. It's like something that is insatiable, but you have to teach it when it has enough to stop, to back off. I think that at some time in the future, you and this virus will learn to more consciously communicate. You will learn to teach. You will be able to teach the virus some degree of compassion. And at least the intelligence to understand that if it destroys everything, it too will die. Back off. Back off. Love is what is capable of saying back off. Fear simply punches. It doesn't work well that way. So you are here, just as you planned. You did not know there would be this COVID-19 on Earth right now. You did not know what the nature of the challenge would be. A generation before, and some of you in that generation, had to deal with nuclear crisis. Would the world be destroyed by nuclear power? Each generation will have its own challenges and teachers, drawing you forth to, quote, fix the dam. But you of this present generation are particularly inspired to be here because you know that it is the time for transition of the Earth to a higher density planet. You know that the choice will be either the Earth is destroyed and does not become a higher density planet at all, or it becomes a positively or a negatively polarized higher density planet. You studied this. You studied it in Lemuria. You studied it with Yeshua when you walked the earth with him. You studied it with many great teachers, the Buddha, Muhammad, others, Abraham, and teachers of so many other traditions. When the call came some 20 or 40 or 60 or 70 years ago, who will come to earth now to help shepherd earth into a higher vibration? It will take everything you have ever learned. Who will come? That beautiful song, I cannot sing it. Barbara has never heard it, so she doesn't know the tune. But I, the Lord of sea and sky, I have heard my people cry. All who walk in dark and pain, my hands will save. Let me get the right words. You made the something of light. I will make their darkness bright. Who will share my love with them? Who shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord. If you lead me, I will hold your people in my heart. There are more verses. I see one of you with a tissue. I love you. Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I believe that's sufficient from me. Tonight is more about inspiration than Dharma teaching. You all have the Dharma teaching in your other classes. Let me leave you with that one Dharma thought. Everything arises, everything in this conditioned realm arises out of conditions and passes when the conditions cease. Your work is to create the new conditions of love and high vibration, in which not only COVID-19, but literally hatred, greed, prejudice, all pass away from the earth and help the earth move into the Eden it was intended to be. I'm going to step back now. I'm going to pause the recording. Love is not as fluent as I am at starting a new recording, so I'm going to end this one and start a new one, so Love doesn't have to do that when he comes in, or Love will incorporate. Thank you. I may or may not be back with you. I love you all. Thank you for being with me tonight. Aaron is reminding me, thank you, Aaron, to press record. I am love, and I greet you in love and light. I am the one you have called love. I was here at the beginning and have watched all the convolutions of becoming on this earth. Watched the creation of the elements, of the first cellular life, and of increasing intelligence. Because I am intelligent. Maybe not modest, but intelligent. I wanted playmates who would equal me in intelligence. It does not serve you well to say, me, I'm dumb, I can't do anything. How does that help the world? Many of you lived in Lemuria, not all, but many. Others lived on other planes of being. On these planes of being, you had the opportunity to literally co-create, to know your power. And then, regardless of whether you came from Lemuria, from some other plane of being, no matter where you came from, there was a decision that each of you made to move into the human form. Why would you do that? As long as you lived in that, quote, Garden of Eden, unquote, protected as a child is protected, immature, you could feel the wonders of creation, but you lacked free will to participate in that creation. Then, at some point, just as Aaron's chicken, the egg, says, I'm ready. I've lived in this shell long enough. Back, and comes forth. You said, I am ready to put what I have been learning to use. I am ready to become an adult, to co-create in the universe in ways which ever more fully express love. Because you knew you were of the essence of love, born of love. Yes, there is no duality. Anything that is born of love also carries darkness and fear. These are not the essence. These are conditioned expressions. You cannot fully express love until you face fear. You cannot fully express light until you live in darkness and to learn how to move through and transcend the darkness. transcending it by the light within. I know that a number of you are in Aaron's Dharma Path class, the 2-year program, where you have been working this year on Path of Sacred Darkness, finding the light in the darkness. Some of you are wondering, did I simply come to do this to help the earth? Do I not matter? You and the earth are inseparable. You put a seed in the ground and it grows. Is the earth not manifest within the seed? Is the sun not shining through the seed? Are the rains not expressing through the seed? Your essence, and also all that you have learned from the negative perspective about self-centered fear, anger and the expression of anger, negativity, greed. These are all part of who you are. You do not continue to dwell in greed and hatred. You say no to it, but gradually you must have learned how to say no to it, and to have learned what Aaron so often teaches. That which is aware of hatred does not hate. That which is aware of greed is not greedy. That which is aware of fear is not afraid. Until you understand those things, so that you are no longer afraid of hatred, greed, and fear, no longer hating them, but simply knowing them as conditions and impermanent. Once you know that, you can begin to live in the awakened heart. It is this base of the awakened heart from which the new earth, the new high vibration earth, will express. A world of compassion, of light, of wisdom, that has the power to touch out everything into the universe, and into the galaxy. Aaron, which is bigger, galaxy or universe? I don't know your human terms. He says it doesn't matter. You understand what I'm saying. To express out and be a light. There's a saying from the Buddha. As he lay dying, he said, be a lamp unto yourselves. And this is what you have been learning for millennia. How to be a lamp unto yourselves. Beings like myself, love. Beings like Aaron. Your own high vibrational guides. We're not going to abandon you. We will walk with you. But we cannot do it ourselves. It takes your human vibration here on Earth to co-create the future Earth. I am looking at it for Gandalf's quote here. I see somebody wrote out, "I, the Lord of Sea and Sky." Such a beautiful song. I wish it need not have happened. I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf, and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All you have to decide is what to do with the time that is given. Are you ready? Will you take my hands and allow me to walk with you into the light, bearing the light? All of you. Frodo was a ring bearer. You are light bearers. And you need to throw that light into the crack of darkness so that it can take root and blossom everywhere. You are ready, as Aaron has reminded you. You are not alone. Some of you will come to the Remembering Wholeness session on Zoom on Sunday, where you will have darshan with the mother. Between now and Sunday, ask yourself, what help do I ask? Where do I still feel inadequate? And ask the mother to help you in that way. To let her know how deeply you are cherished, and to let you know how powerful you are, and that you need not fear that power. We're with you, and so many communities like you all over the world who are ready to say no to fear, contraction, negative polarity in all its expressions. Let us make this earth the Garden of Eden that was envisioned. As love, as one who was a primary birth giver of this plane. I gave free will, invited free will. I did not seek to shelter you from a hardship and challenge, but rather to help you know that you are up to meeting those challenges. To find the light within you and bring it fully forth. I am love. You are love. Everything is love. But some of that love, like COVID-19, has not learned how to fully express itself as love yet. So it expresses in service to self. Do not despise, but teach with your loving heart and wisdom. All the help you need will be given. Please do not despair, but allow us to walk with you and support you as we bring the earth through this healing and into the light. I am love. I hold you in my heart forever. I will never abandon you. But I will walk by your side and not carry you, because you do not need to be carried. You are love. You are light. You're beautiful. I'm going to release the body to Barbara. She and you can decide what will come next. Thank you for this opportunity to spend time with you. Aaron is offering a suggestion here. One moment. He is saying that in the paper that I read and talking about my relationship with a mother, we come as equal parts of a whole. He said they have had love with them tonight. Would the mother like to incorporate it for just a few minutes, even a minute or two, before we release the body? She says she would be delighted. This will not be the individual darshan. My blessings to you. Oh, I love you so much. Thank you for this opportunity to say hello to you and to let you know that I hold you in my heart always. You are my beloved ones, and you are never alone. As love has said, please let go of the belief that you are helpless and small, because you are immense. You radiate so much light. Please trust that light in yourselves and remember who you are. I thank you, and I will release the body to Barbara. Thank you all. Love, the mother, Aaron. Thank you. This is Barbara. Okay, let us get started. Let's let Aaron come in. My blessings and love to you all. I am Aaron. You co-create with the earth. The earth also has intelligence. You do not impose your free will on the earth, but you and all sentient beings and all the elements that make up the earth come together, some with positive polarity and some with negative polarity, and some with neutral polarity. Now there is an abundance of positive polarity and an abundance of negative polarity, not so much neutral. Those of you of a positive polarity have had to learn to embrace negative polarity and to move past dualities, to understand that that negative polarity is also in yourself, not to fear or heed it. In this way, you would transform, or perhaps transmute is a better word, any negativity in yourself and in the earth. And in so doing, the earth, the whole vibration of the earth is raised. First is to have compassion for the human in whom fear arises. I would suggest that the questioner read my book, Human, in which I go into quite a lot of detail about how to do this. It's a very short book, very to the point. Watching the arising of fear. The question is not whether it will arise, but how one relates to it. How do you learn to relate to fear, to anger, to body discomfort, to any unpleasant catalyst with kindness? It really is just a matter of practice. Many of you are Vipassana practitioners, some with years of practice. And you know that this works, that you gradually learn how to relate to discomfort with loving kindness. This is the shift we're after. On the Deep Spring website, you will find compassion meditation, a guided meditation. I would suggest you practice with it. We do not start with a difficult person like Hitler. We start with a loved one who, despite it being a loved one, still sometimes is challenging. We move on to ourselves, finding compassion for ourselves, for the judging mind, the moodiness, the impatience, the greed. Greeting these in the self with compassion. And gradually we expand to that compassion out to the more difficult person. Do go to the Deep Spring site and look for Karuna, K-A-R-U-N-A, is the Pali word for compassion. Karuna meditation. It's a result of several things, Celeste. Nothing is ever that straightforward. It is a result of the transition of the earth. It is also, in large part, a result of the DNA changes in many humans. I don't know if Barbara's and my work on DNA change is on the Deep Spring website. You can search for it there. If not, I'd be glad to remind Barbara to send it out in some way so it will be accessible to people. People are living in different parts of the world, in different cultures. For those living in a country where there is less freedom, one must work harder for it. You and your fellow countrymen who value freedom will never take it for granted. But in this country where freedom is said to be established, it's very much taken for granted. And it's a part of the learning for the United States with the COVID-19. The limitation now on personal freedom is leading people to value freedom more. A question to bring forth to your friends. I would simply ask you to reflect on, what does freedom mean to me? Nobody can control your mind, Jeff. Your mind is free. It's interesting that in China, in which for many centuries it was a leader of wisdom in the world, with teachings of Confucianism, Buddhism, and so forth, that people have forgotten what it means to be free within and how to bring that freedom out as a light shining out, to use that as a tool to shift the more worldly freedoms. Your people have all the tools that you need. But it is important that you recognize the power that you have. From that power, holding it in your heart, will come the ability to gradually transform the world on the more political and physical and mental levels. Yes, it will help. You have specific tools because of your training. Others do not have training to use such a specific tool. Simply singing, oh, oh, oh. Banner is very curious as to what I'm doing. He's looking at me quite puzzled. Oh, he's about to start barking. Good fellow. Prayer is a way of bringing in a light and opening these ley lines. The earth, yes, the arteries of the earth are clogged. Earth is having a stroke, one might say. Love, laughter, dance, play your fiddle or your piano, paint a picture filled with light, and consecrate all of this to the earth. In all of these ways, you're healing the earth. But if you have specific tools like Penny, trust your use of these tools, that you do know what you are doing. A friend, Russell, has a website called Earth Energy Healing. I think if you Google it, just those 3 words, Earth Energy Healing, Russell Boulding. He's doing a lot of work with bringing energy to help clear the blockages in the Earth's meridians. You might enjoy connecting with him. Anything can be harmful to you if you do not shield yourself to release that which is harmful. You would not walk into a jungle where there are known to be tigers and wild boars and other animals that could attack you without some kind of protection. Anything on earth can be harmful, even the water. Instead of focusing on, is this harmful or is that harmful, which has a root in fear. Instead, begin to look at things and say, what is the gift of this that I bring into me, and what do I wish to say no to? Is chocolate ice cream harmful? A scoop of it in your ice cream cone is wonderful. Maybe even the pint of your Baskin Robbins, but are you going to eat a gallon of it? What do you say? That's enough. And set boundaries, appropriate boundaries based in love for yourself and for that against which you set the boundaries, for the highest good of both. That said, these electrical frequencies can be more challenging than some things, so make sure you are clear with your boundaries. Bring it in through the base chakra and up through the heart, through all the chakras, until the whole body vibrates with it. And then consecrate it to the highest good and release it. If the sexual energy is very strong, just keep doing this. Begin to feel any place in the body where it has gotten stuck. Begin to explore that chakra and ask why it's holding on to that energy, perhaps misusing it for personal use, rather than consecrating it out for the highest good. It's a very beautiful energy, something to be cherished and shared as energy, as love. Sexual energy is one basis for love. I am love. I'll answer this for myself and then give you back to Aaron. In the beginning, as Aaron is fond of saying, there was no beginning. There was simply love. I am not the entirety of that love, but I am a core of that love. Being love was both beautiful and lonely. I wanted to implore that love to bring forth beautiful expressions, to see how love is infinite. And so I invited the expressions of light and darkness, movement and stillness, joy and sorrow. I invited forth the elements. And I invited forth a contraction and spaciousness, all to help beings understand that there is no duality. Contraction is part of spaciousness, and spaciousness is part of contraction. Darkness is part of light, and light is part of darkness. We may choose the spaciousness, the light, the love, but always understand that they intertwine and are part of each other. And that the presence with contraction, with space, with contraction, with darkness, with confusion, is the ground for compassion. So these are beautiful tools that serve a purpose. But you do not need to be self-identified with them. Your question then, Bob, is, are these part of me? Yes. Everything is part of me. I am love, and I am infinite. But please do not, let me phrase it differently. Please observe and release any self-identification with the more painful of these expressions. They are here to teach you compassion, not to become identified with them and create a self around them. So many of the chants have Om within them. Om, sacred syllables. Om, right there in the quiet of your own rooms and with your mute on. Sing this with me. Om. Can you feel the vibration of it in you? Om. We consider it a sacred syllable because when you sing it, it opens the chakras. Your whole body begins to resonate with the sound. With the chakras open, there's more spaciousness. And then you're increasingly connected to me, to love. Not just to me, you are love, I am love, to love. Penny and Gordon have been using tuning forks. Yes, Barbara has a big set of tuning forks and uses them frequently, literally to tune. I'm going to give this back to Aaron to continue. I'll come back if needed. I am Aaron. We're talking about tuning forks. Barbara uses these regularly. This is F for the heart chakra. Om. She has a set C, D, C for the base, D for the spleen, E for the solar plexus, F heart, G throat, A third eye, B crown, C up here above the crown. When her chakras are feeling at all blocked, she'll spend a half an hour just going through them, one at a time. Or holding the stem to her heart and chanting the word Om over and over. She'll avoid going to the chakra that feels most closed, but instead, for example, if the solar plexus feels closed, she'll go to the spleen and the heart and invite energy to move up and to move down to help open the whole flow of the chakras. It's a beautiful practice. It's a very helpful practice to support energy opening. Dear one, are you taking the time you need for yourself to rest, to eat wholesome food, to meditate, to chant, to enjoy the spring flowers, to sleep? As I look at your energy field here, it's very tight. So I would like to suggest that you do more of whatever brings you the most joy. Please try that and get back to me in a week or two and let me know how you were feeling. Please turn to what brings you joy, and also with a sense of observation, begin to see which of the chakras may be most blocked. Begin to ask, what is the ground for this blockage? What fear, what old habits? Use your free will statement. I choose to live with love. I choose to live with open energy field. If my energy field is not open, why? For some of you, you are going through a lot of DNA changes and you're finding more power. And there may be fear of that power, which in reverse has you closed down again. It's a work in process. Be patient with yourselves, but also be persistent. In Dharma Path class last night, we talked about the overlap of endurance and persistence. John gave a Pali language word that is the word that defines this overlap. Endurance and persistence must both come from a place of love, not a gritting the teeth and pushing ahead. So you might want to explore what it means for you right now in this time where there's so much challenge. Are you persisting in your spiritual practice? Are you enduring from a place of love, holding the suffering of the earth, not to fix it, but for the highest good of all beings and with love? How do you bring that together? All of you have one end. Many paths, one end. The end is to know that you are love, to open yourselves fully to that reality and to live it as best you can. Any path that brings you closer to more fully manifesting that essence of love is a wholesome path. Any path that closes your heart and it limits your capacity for love is not a wholesome path. Caution that the practice that helps one being to more fully love may be a practice that closes another down. So simply keep asking yourself, after I work with this practice, do I feel more expansive, more loving, more patient, more present? If so, then I will persist with it. But if I cease to get these results, then I will ask what practice would bring better balance for me now. It is important to choose a practice and stay with it. Any practice can be misused. So sometimes it's not the practice itself, but the way you are using the practice. If you find a practice contracts, you begin to ask why. Probably any practice would contract you until you get to that why, until you understand that perhaps you're uncomfortable with feeling helpless, or you are uncomfortable with anger, or whatever it may be. Just keep exploring and trust the love in your heart. Have courage, my dear ones. You did not come here to witness your own destruction or that of the earth. As you heal yourselves, You heal the earth. The quiet time you're in now is healing the earth. Instead of being afraid of the quiet, can you invite it to help heal you as well? So many of you have said, I wish I had more time to meditate. Now I understand that some of you may be working from home and have 3 children at home and feeling overwhelmed. But for many of you, you're saying to me, I'm getting emails, Barbara's getting emails. It is so quiet. I'm lonely. I don't know what to do with myself. Well, please meditate. Set this up with a friend too. Just find a time where with one friend you can meditate together for half an hour. These, what do we call them? Zoom and other such, give you such a wonderful opportunity to connect and then to go back and be present with the illusion of aloneness. It is a wonderful time now to practice for yourselves and offering these results, the energy and the love out to the world. So use this gift that you have been given. Use it well. Try to find joy and gratitude. Most of you that I see here on the screen, you are in relatively safe situations, unlike those in refugee camps, for example, or homeless people sleeping under a bridge where they cannot distance themselves. And take the goodness that has come to you, and as tongue, breathing in the love and the light you are receiving, send it out to all beings who are suffering. You do make a difference this way. And through this, you are raising the earth's vibration, and you are helping to support healing of all on earth, and to support the compassionate saying of no to the virus. You can do it. I know you can. My blessings and love to you. I hold you in my heart. I understand that you are struggling. I would not take this struggle from you, because it is teaching you how strong and radiant you are. I would take COVID-19 from you, from the earth, if I could, but I cannot. So we would learn to cherish it as a teacher. Thank you and good night. I'm going to bring Barbara back. Thank you, Erin. Hello, everyone, and good night. I hope you are all well and thriving and finding things that are beautiful in your lives. I love you. Good night.